Hey guys, this is Spectre Wade here. I am sick currently, so I'm doing a Warrior Cats tier list because time, but at the same time, like, working on too many other things to do anything else. so the tiers are my favorites, which are clearly my favorites. I love them. Best of the best. This is kind of like an exclusive category, so not every cat I really like is gonna be up here, just like the main cats that if I could save anyone, these would be the cats I'd save. I like them a lot. Are the cats just below that? I don't like. They don't quite make it into that elite category, but I still absolutely adore them. I find them interesting, or I find them fun to read about, or just cats I find really interesting. I feel like add a lot to the books, but at the same time, like I don't necessarily like them. I like what they contribute, or I like aspects about them. I like them, or is like neutral positive. If that makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, I'm okay with them being around. I'm kind of happy that they're around. They're okay. I'm absolutely neutral on. They're there. Okay. Not the best are cats I see. It's like, oh, okay, I guess you're here then. I find them annoying, or like, kind of self-explanatory. Cats I just find annoying. I don't particularly like them being around. I find them horrible by the way they act. This is for a select few cats, and I personally think that they act like complete pieces of garbage, and I don't want them around me. Get rid of them. Um, I don't know them, or cats like they're there. I just don't have a strong enough grasp on who they are as characters to have an opinion on them. Or I forgot who this is, or cats I literally can't remember. Anyways, let's continue. Oh, yay. And we're going to start off with Moonflower. Moonflower, I feel like, is the definition of middle cat. I feel like she. What does she do? She goes to on the raid for WindClan, and she dies. And that's it. And she swoons over Stormpaw and Goosefeather's curse. That's it. I don't know, like, I don't mind her. I think her design's pretty. I think her name's pretty. But I don't particularly care about her. So, you're okay. Alderheart. I don't know, because, like, do you go there? I'm not gonna lie. I find Alderheart very, very boring. I'm okay with him as, like, a background character. I enjoy his background character. So I guess, like, yeah, you would be up here. But I don't enjoy his POV. I don't think he adds all that much to the series. I mean, what he finds Violet Kit and Twig Kit, but like that was also Needletail. It was just like, that could literally happen to any protagonist. I'm trying to think what else. He did experimental medicine, but I want to say that's something that either Leaf or Jay Feather had, like, they've also messed with experimental medicine, if I remember right. So I don't feel like it's that unique. But yeah, we'll just leave you and I like him. I'm generally positive towards him. I'm okay with him being here. Just not as a POV. Cinderpelt, I really like you. You're cute. You have a spunky attitude. I'm sorry. I'm putting her into it. I like her a lot. She's sweet. Something I kind of miss in the first arc is how Firestar had, like, his friend group. Because, like, he had Cinderpelt, Sandstorm, and, Graystripe in the clan. And how he kind of, like, used them all as advisors. And that's even, like, followed through in later arcs, too. Because, like, obviously you use your Mastic as an advisor no matter what. But I find, at least if I remember correctly, I just got to read the Power of Three. Um, I feel like Firestar confided in Leafpool less than he confided in Cinderpelt. Which, like, makes sense because he's known Cinderpelt since he was a young warrior. But, like, even the later arcs, he's confiding in Sandstorm and Gracechum. He's like, how do you feel about this? And they're like, well, we should do this. And he's like, okay, I will consider that. Thank you. Or I need you to keep an eye on these guys for me, like his trusted inner circle, and I feel like you don't get that with a lot of other Warrior Cats protagonists. Like the three have each other. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't feel like you get that from group to the same extent, and I enjoy that. Anyways, that was really off topic. Um, Sorreltail, you're fun. You're playful. I like you. I don't feel like she does enough for me to like feel extremely strongly like, oh my gosh, you're here, yay! But Sorreltail's like overall just a good warrior. I like her. Oh, wrong person. Fallen Leaves. You're okay. Like, he takes care of Hollyleaf, and that's nice. But overall, I don't feel like he has much of a personality. He's just kind of there. He's lonely. I feel bad for him. But he's there. Anyways, so all my thoughts on the Fallen Leaves. Fernsson. You're nice. You're a good boy. I don't know. I don't know that much about Fernsson. He tried to be a good dad. He seems good to Ivypool. But, like, I don't feel like he has much to say. Goodbye, Fernsson. Mothweed! I find you really fun to read about. This is a situation where I don't like her personality, because I do like her personality. But it's one of those situations where I don't get super excited when she's around. It's like, oh yay, Mothwing. I don't get like excited like, oh yes, awesome, I'm so glad you're here. Like savoring these moments. It's shush. It's I don't know. I feel like her outlook, like her perspective, adds a lot. I feel like she's a cool foil to Jay Feather. She had a good relationship with Leafpool. I don't know. I do feel like she's becoming a little bit flanderized in the later arcs. But like, what you gotta do? That happens to every character, it feels like. But yeah, I find Mothwing fun to read about. Poppy Frost, you're a sweetie. Do I put you I like you or I like you a lot? Oh, I like you a lot. I enjoy it when Poppy Frost talks. She's a very sensible warrior. It doesn't feel like she leans very one way or the other. She's just like, okay, so let's think about this. I find it interesting because it doesn't, like, maybe I'm forgetting about something, but it doesn't feel like a lot of the times she gets caught up in the, oh, we need to get rid of these outsiders that might be causing a threat, might be a threat mindset that I feel like just flips on with half of ThunderClan at any given change. Yeah, do I put you I like you a lot? I'm sorry, I might move you down here. I don't. Because I like her. But I feel like if I don't have more to say about her, then I can't justify putting her up, and I like her a lot. Lion Blaze. Lion Blaze, I'm slightly torn. I could put you in IK. I could put you I like you, or I could put you in not the best. It really depends on what arc of Lion Blaze we are looking at. Because Power of 3 Lion Blaze, I do like his character. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I feel like in comparison to his siblings, he's actively the most empathetic. He like Jay Feather hears people, but if like Jay Feather has this problem where he either A kind of gets lost in his own emotions, or B like removes himself from the situation to the point where he doesn't necessarily relate or like experience that emotion. And if I remember right, that isn't necessarily the case in Noble of the Stars, but it's definitely the case in Power of 3. Versus Holly Leaf, who gets so caught up her own thoughts and her own dogma, and like if you go against her personal beliefs, she cannot relate, she cannot empathize. She gets so caught up in her own head and her own thoughts and her own beliefs that she can't, or she, not that she can't, she just struggles with it. And so Lion Blaze kind of being this mediator who empathizes and can kind of think rationally in that sense is really interesting. Unfortunately, he just kind of turns into a little bit of a jerk in Over the Stars, and then like spirals further and further as the arcs go on. I'll put you in your okay. I'll give you an average, because like there still are some good moments, but like I feel like he definitely was at his peak in Over the Stars, or not Over the Stars, Power 3. He also had an interesting arc with the Dark Forest. Well, that lasted, but oh well. Birchfall. You're okay. What do? You fret over White Wing sometimes. You are sometimes there for your children, and sometimes you join them in making bad choices. But like other than that, what did you do? Got attacked by a badger? You're there, Birch. You're there, Birchfall. You have a cool name, but you're just there. Leafpool. Dear God, where do I put you, Leafpool? I feel like I hear people talk about how Hollyleaf is a inconsistent character, and I do agree with that. But I feel like Leafpool is also an inconsistent character, and I don't hear people talking about that a lot. And I feel like a lot of times it's because of just how bland she is. She goes from just being nice and sweet and reasonable to, oh, I'm love struck now. And, oh, I'm going to reflect on things the plot has to say, but take the most generic outlook on them. Which, like, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just, like, you can't define Leafpool in the first arc, it feels like. Or not in the first, in her first arc in New Prophecy. And then in Power of 3, like, it feels like she's just all over the place. It feels like one minute she's snippy, and the next minute she's understanding, and the next minute she's like has this no nonsense attitude, and the next minute she's emotional over literally everything. It's like, Leafpool, what? I'm sorry, but I'm gonna put her in She's Okay. After Over the Stars, her and Squirrelflight's relationship is nice. What else is there? Leafpool's relationship with Squirrelflight, okay, that is the one nice part of her character in New Prophecy. Not Leafpool's Wish. We don't talk about Leafpool's Wish. Leafpool's Wish is not okay. I think that about wraps up my thoughts on Leafpool. The incoherent thoughts for an incoherent character. Firestar! The man is dumb, but with an honor code. I'm positive towards you. You were a fun leader. It felt like he was reasonable. I found it kind of fun how they balanced him being reasonable and the characters were still allowed to like get up to shenanigans, like they still had conflict. It just wasn't necessarily with their leader. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because it felt like I feel like part of that came from especially with Power of Three and Above the Stars, they had to be secretive. And like obviously they couldn't just tell their leader that they knew about this prophecy. Um why? I don't know, but they couldn't. um it like he kind of acted as a as if like a spokesman of sorts for what all the other cats were thinking. Like, oh yeah, this is odd. What were you doing? It kind of put characters on the spot. I don't know. Gave it a little bit more stakes, I guess. Um, I think overall, like he makes mistakes. There are multiple times where he is influenced by the sheer popularity of opinion within his clan, and he makes bad decisions because of it. And I think that's interesting. So yeah, I don't know. Overall, I think Firestar is a pretty decent guy. I like him. Goosefeather, I find you fun to read about. Like I'm not like I find Goosefeather really interesting, whatever situation he's in. His novella was really interesting to read about, just like okay, not the Mabel Shade parts. Just like him as a person and the way in which he went about thinking about things and the way in which he interacted with his power and the frustration that he couldn't change much. Like ignoring the idea of determinism that brings. I felt like it was fun to read about how it affected him specifically. Honey Fur. Honey Fur? Are you? I'm pretty sure it's Honey Fern. I am like 90% sure that was Honey Fur. No. Not Honey Fur. Yeah. So we're going to ignore the name. This is Honey Fern. And I like her a lot. I, as stupid as her like over the top, head over heel little romance with Mary Nose was, I found it cute. I felt like it gave some depth to the other characters. Like they have their own lives going on. Um, I found it cute. And then like her death was absolutely unforgettable. And the way Honeyfur's ghost tried to help Jay Feather and Poppy Frost, it was so sweet. I don't know. I like Honeyfern. Um, Jay Feather. Jay Feather. Where do I want to put you? It's either in I find you fun to read about or I like you a lot, because I do like you a lot. But at the same time, you are really freaking interesting. That has so much. I might put you over here. Like, okay, these two. I like them a lot and I find you fun to read about. One isn't necessarily above the other. They're just like two separate reasons for liking them. Uh, okay. I want to say, like, the further up we go, the more they overlap. So, like, Jay Feather could fit into either one. Mothwing mainly just fits into I find you fun to read about. But yeah. Mousefur, I really like you. I like Cranky Mousefur. I think she's awesome. I have nothing else to say. Needletail. Needletail's really fun to read about. I find Needletail to be a very interesting character. The way in which she interacts with the kin. She's just like at the center of all the conflict. And like she wholeheartedly believes it what the kin are putting down, and because she isn't like one of our protagonists, she's allowed to be completely manipulated by them. I find that so interesting. Like poor Needletail, but at the same time I find it so interesting. Ravenpaw! I'm not gonna lie, Ravenpaw's never been, like, a cat where I've been like, oh my gosh, yes, I love Ravenpaw. I like Ravenpaw. He seems like a sweetie. I just don't necessarily care about Ravenpaw. I think that's what separates him from everyone else up here. When I see him, I feel so neutral. Sorry, he's gonna have to stay down there. Cinderheart. Could put you where I like you. I feel like Cinderheart is a fun accomplice. I feel like she made a fun friend for Hollyleaf, even though I didn't agree with what either one of them did. And like the way they traded Lionblaze and Dark River and such. I still feel like it was fun for them to have a best friendship. Yeah, just leave you over here, Cinderheart. Tigerstar, you are fun to read about. I'm like, obviously you could say that about any villain. Obviously, any villain is fun to read about. But I feel like Tigerstar's Fury was really interesting to read, so he gets bonus points. Who are you? Who are you? I don't know who this is. You Grayling? Huh, that's strange. We'll have to figure out who you are. Poppy Frost. Or not Poppy Frost, what am I saying? Brightheart. Brightheart, I like you a lot. You're nice, you're sweetie. Darktail is, I find them fun to read about. Blackstar is, I find them fun to read about. Graystripe, I find you horrible by the way you act. Like, I think it's mainly just the way in which he treats promises and how nonchalant he is about them. I find one of the most admirable qualities in these cats to be loyalty, and I feel like Graystripe lacks all loyalty. I feel like my feelings on him are compacted by the way the books treat him as, like, oh, some great friend. No, get away from me, Graystripe. Goldenflower. I do like Goldenflower. I like her a lot. I like how she's like, Firestar's freaking out about her kids, and she puts him in his place, which is really nice and refreshing. I like Goldenflower. She's sweet. Snowfur. I like you. She was sweet. We didn't get much on her, but I feel like overall she was sweet. Heathertail. You are going right up to the top, my dear. I love Heathertail. I think it's, like, she's a character somewhat similar to Sandstorm in my brain, right? Because she is mainly defined through her relationships with Lionblaze and Breezepelt, but also with Crowfeather and Crowfeather's trial, like, the amount of which she speaks about her, about how she is a strong warrior and a good leader, but also incredibly curious and adventurous, and she's a little bit of a mouth on her. I found her so much fun to be around, and I love her. I love Heathertail. She's one of my favorites. Dovewing. You also go right up to the top, my little empathetic darling. I find Dovewing's eternal loyalty and empathy to those she's grown close and fond of to be really nice. And I would say she's an incredibly loyal person. I don't feel like it's fair to characterize her as someone who's only looking out for herself, because she does. She goes look after Sedgewhisker. She tries to keep in touch with the cats she grew to know on the journey. Her clan just simply isn't like, she isn't incredibly close to her clan. Her loyalty isn't defined by what clan she's in, rather who all she's around and who she feels close to. And I don't like I feel definitely would defend Ivy Pool in a heartbeat. She would defend Tiger Heart in a heartbeat. She she would fight with every last breath for anyone she cared about. So yeah, I love her. She's great. Fox Sleep. I like you, Fox Sleep. Do I like you, or you do I like you a lot? He's one of those background characters where I'm always really happy to see him, but I don't. I'll just put you up here. So organize these guys, I guess. Focus on that later. Bristlefrost. I really do like Bristlefrost. I'm constantly fluctuating on if she's in my favorites or just I like her a lot. Currently, we're in I like you a lot season, but that is liable to change. Again, I find her incredibly brave. I feel like her independence is something that draws me to liking her and her chapters so much. She has a lot of interesting situations too, and so I'm always really happy to go through early Broken Code, her chapters, and how she's dealing with the imposter. Um, her romance arc is like kind of falls flat for me, but it's fine. That I don't feel like that's supposed to be the main point. Um, but yeah, Bristlefrost was fun. I enjoyed having her around. Ivypool. I like you, Ivypool. I like you a lot. Well, okay. Now we have the situation of which one to put you in, because you are really interesting to read about. I feel like that's slightly more important than just me like you on the side. So I might actually put you surpassing Jay Feather. Whoops, sacrilegious, I know. Squirrel flight goes to the top. You might actually beat out Heathertail. Yep. Squirrelflight was actually a character I related to a lot growing up. I've a lot of, I struggled socially. I was extremely extroverted, but I also was a little bit of a know-it-all. And so I related to Squirrelpaw and how she tried to make these friendships, but oftentimes her attitudes or her sarcastic mouth could kind of push those people away from her, and how she grew and matured into being someone who was constantly speaking their mind, which is like again is similar to what I went through. And I don't know, I found her really nice to relate to, and there were a lot of characters in fiction before that I related so strongly to. Ooh. Sandstorm. I really like Sandstorm. Um, I I don't know if you necessarily be in my favorites, but I like you a lot. Again, I like Sandstorm for a lot of the reasons I like Heathertail. Yeah, I just feel like Sandstorm got a lot less time to shine. I feel like Sandstorm is incredibly analytical, and she has a strong no nonsense attitude, and she seems. I feel like she seems like the definition of a hard work, like a. I don't know how to articulate this. Um, she seems to be really invested in her work, and I can relate to that. And I agree with a lot of what she says. She looks at things and she doesn't necessarily take the emotional point of view, which is what almost all warrior cat characters do. She thinks about things rationally. I feel like if we had a Sandstar, we would only have good decisions. Um, Firestar, you should have made your wife deputy, not your best friend. I digress. Sparkpelt! I really like Sparkpelt. I know a lot of people find her really flawed. I, I can kind of see that, That kind, I can't see that. But I feel like she feels so realistic in that though. I feel like she exemplifies the messiness of being a human, and I enjoy that. Fur Cloud. Fur Cloud, you're okay. You're probably a positive okay, but you're just an okay. Chew! Oh, bless me. Uh, Tiny Pelt. Tiny Pelt, I like you. I don't think I need to say more. Tiny Pelt's cool. Um, Feathertail would have been I like you, but then I read a Shadow River Clan, and I find you really fun to read about. Feathertail and the way in which she held on to that resentment was incredibly realistic and something we don't get to see a lot of warriors at least handled that maturely. And I love Feathertail now. That manga or that graphic novel saved Feathertail for me. Hawkfrost, I find you interesting to read about for obvious reasons. Ashfur is in the same category. I find you interesting to read about. I'd like to say I think both of these are terrible people, but I think it was clear that I thought Darktail, Tiger Star were also terrible people. Did I leave someone? No? Okay. Dustbelt. Oh, you're okay. You're okay, Dustbelt. Ice Cloud, you're a sweetie. Thank you. Thistleclaw. Huh? I don't know you well enough, Thistleclaw. I feel like Thistleclaw changes every book, and I just. I don't know. I don't care, Thistleclaw. um, I kind of want to put Brackenford in the same category just because of how little character development he gets. I'm sorry. Moving on. I'm going to put Hollyleaf, and I find her interesting to read about. Hollyleaf is one of those characters I always go back and forth on because, like, in Power 3, as a person, I did not like Hollyleaf. I felt like she was incredibly hypocritical. I felt like her inability to relate with people and her refusal to acknowledge that might be impacting her interpretation of people was incredibly frustrating. Um, However, I did find her ambition and her need to be known and remembered and to validate herself through that incredibly relatable. And as I get older, I find what she contributed to the series really interesting. I what Hollyleaf did, like, I feel like Hollyleaf herself has left a bigger impact on the series, like in just the sheer amount of memorable moments she has caused than almost any other cat. So yeah, Hollyleaf's pretty cool. Briarlight, I love you, my baby. Um, yeah, you go up there. I don't think anyone dislikes Briarlight. If you do, why? Why? Why do you dislike her? I don't know you, Stonefur. Stonefur is such a meh guy. He had one cool moment when he was defending Featherpaw and Stormpaw. Other than that, though, he's just He's a you had a cool moment, Stonefur. Oh, wait, seems like a sweetie, so I like you. Tallstar also seems like a sweetie, so I like you. I read a Super Edition. I thought it was nice. I don't feel like super strong about him as a person. Maybe that's just a me thing. Maybe that's just my problem. I apologize for that. His Super Edition was a fun read though. Breeze Pelt. What did I just do? Breeze Pelt. has grown on me a bit. I'm gonna put him. I find him fun to read about. I don't like him as a person, but I do feel like he adds a source of conflict to the book, so I enjoy that. Silver Stream. I don't know you. You were in two books, kind of, and she's just yeah. She's a she's fine, I guess. I don't know. 1 star. Find you interesting to read about. Spiderleg. Oh, Spiderleg is kind of a sucky human being. I find you annoying, Spiderleg. That's where I'm putting you. Oakheart is going into I don't know them because Oakheart doesn't have personality. Crowfeather. Crowfeather, I'll put you into your fun to read about. Okay. I find it interesting when he comes on screen just because of all the drama he causes. So, yeah. Sherpa, I don't know you because you died. Snowbush. Oh, I know you're in the newer arcs. You are so forgettable. You do absolutely nothing. Like, these guys, and I don't know them. Like, I game more at lately. They have the most generic of generic personalities. And I, like, just they have nothing. But they are on screen. They do something sometimes. Snowbush? Guys, tell me one thing Snowbush ever did other than just existing the allegiances. I genuinely can't tell you. Lilyheart, you're fine. You're cool. You're okay. I know a lot of people like Lily. Oh, I guess you you took a Violet Kid and Twin Kid. That was sweet. And then you treated Nightheart. Nice. Like you should. I don't know. I don't know. Lilyheart's just kind of there. I'll move you up to I like you, Lilyheart. I don't feel like it's necessarily. Yeah. Well, I mean, Ferncloud's also down there, so like it isn't necessarily an insult. I just feel, yeah. If it's just based off feelings, I'll put you down there, Lilyheart. Stormfur, you are about as bland as like saltine crackers. Smoke. I don't know. Not the best, I guess. You don't exist. You exist only in flashbacks. Willowpelt. You're fine. You're whatever. Amber Moon. Oh, your name's so pretty, and I know how she died. That's about it, though. Spiderleg also had a thing for her. Yeah, we're just gonna put you down here. Rosetail. She was fun in Blue Star's Prophecy, so I will put you in I Like You. Sweetpaw, you literally died. Who the heck are you? It's sad you died, but I have no opinions. I find Mapleshade annoying. Not necessarily because of what she did, because if we were to remove the fandom and only look at the books, I would say Mapleshade, you know what, and most of your material, well, not most. In Omen of the Stars and Crooked Star's Promise, in your novella, you are fun to read about. Everything else, not so much, but in those three, you are fun to read about. But when you include the fandom and how much they try to, I don't know. I get very tired of the argument of Mapleshade did nothing wrong. Because she did. She contributed to her situation. Doesn't justify how other people treat her, but she did contribute to her own situation. Running Wind. I don't know you. Who knows? You're going with the rest of your siblings. you white winged siblings. Bah. Bramble Star, I find you annoying. Thornclaw, I find you annoying. Misty Star, I find you a freaking horrible person. Why is Brambleclaw not down here? Because I feel like a lot of that's just because I feel like everyone acknowledges the fact that Brambleclaw the way in which he treats his wife, it's horrible. So that I don't feel like that's something I necessarily need to address. He just goes in annoyed. I'm annoyed when he's there in the books. Versus I don't know, Misty Star. I see her. I'm like, yeah, you are downright a terrible human being. Stay away from me. Why do I feel like I should probably defend that because a lot of people do like Misty Star. Okay. So let's take a step back. So Misty Star's Owen, right? She is supposed to be like best friends with Mothwing. She's like she takes her leadership honorably. She goes to the moon pool, and she realizes Mothwing's an atheist. And she loses it. Not only does she demote Mothwing, which, like, you know what? It's unreasonable, but it's reasonable, like, the Warrior Cats universe. So I'll let it slide as just a lapse of judgment. But the way in which she treats Mothwing personally, of keeping her at arm's distance and treat her like she did something personally to Misty Star, was absolutely uncalled for. And it's never a minute of self-reflection. It's Stonefur literally coming and slapping her across the face and saying, Misty Star, stop being stupid. And she was like, oh, okay. And she reappoints Mothwing. And she just frustrated. And then in The Broken Code, she, like, repeats her mistakes. She does the same exact thing. Not necessarily for that reason, but she kicks someone who's supposed to be her best friend out of the clan for half-clan parentage. Okay, where's the self-reflection, Misty Star? But whatever. Along with refusing to let any of her other clanmates back in after the battle. At this point, it's been, like, you can see clearly you were in the wrong, so why do you refuse to let anyone else back in? Simply because it's gonna hurt your overall clan and how you look? And then in every other situation in the newer books, she's either A, active, like, she's causing a detriment to her clan by avoiding conflict, or B, just being petty to the other leaders. I mean, like, Brambleclaw and Squirrelfly are having problems, and she's making extremely rude comments to Squirrelfly. It's like, what? Why are you here? Why are you doing this? I don't like Misty Star. I think she's a jerk. Stormtail, do I think you're a horrible person, or do I find you annoying? You know what? We're gonna move you down here. Move you down here, too. Yep, you're just all gonna stay down there. Sasha, where are you at? There you are. I do not excuse humanity, your children, and then acting like they should just forgive you. And you can say that Leafpool did the same thing, but I would argue A, Leafpool kept them close at least and tried to look after them, and B, I feel like depending on what scene you look at, Leafpool didn't expect them to forgive her. But yeah. Molepaw, you died way too early, my dude. But is that who that is? Molepaw's on here 3 times. That is ridiculous. Blue Star, you could also go down here. Again, I don't condone sacrificing your kids and then expecting them to forgive you. Furthermore, I don't condone causing extreme mental and emotional damage to someone who has just gone through a traumatic experience when you're in a position of power. And she never once apologizes to Brightheart. Not once. She just... I understand she was going through a rough time. That rough time does not excuse all the terrible things she does. Hold Blue Star accountable. Brindleweed, we don't get to know you. Spudleaf, I find you annoying. Redtail, who the heck are you? I guess we got developed, but like, yeah. Mosket literally died. We have no idea who Mosket is. Mosket is simply an entity. Seed Pod. You go. I don't know you, or I forgot who this is. Who if I don't know you? I feel like we get a little bit of Bramble Starstorm, but yeah. This is how I view all these cats. I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If not, I apologize. But yeah, have a good night. Or day. Have a good time, whatever that time may be. Yeah. Toodaloo.